Hello again. So today we're going to move on to finding non-unit fractions of a quantity. That's a fraction where the numerator is greater than 1. So once again you're going to need to grab yourself a piece of paper and a pen or pencil because there will be activities for you to complete at the end of this little video. Let's start by working through a couple of examples. I want to find 3/4 of 32. Now, let's think what that actually means. Well, if we look at the fraction itself, the denominator is 4, and that tells us that we need to divide our group of 32, or our bar, which is 32 long, into 4 equal pieces. Then we will have a unit fraction. We will find out how much 1/4 is. After that, we then need to work out what 3 of those quarters would be worth. Let's try that using a bar. Now remember, when you try these questions yourself at home, you may either cut up some strips of paper and make some physical bars to work on, or you may just draw bars on your piece of paper. Okay, so this whole bar we know is equal to 32. The first thing we need to look at is the denominator, and the denominator tells me the size of each piece or of each fraction. It tells me that I need to split my bar into 4 equal pieces. So I'm going to do that. One there, and to find 1/4 we half it, and we half it again. Okay, 4 equal pieces. So this is what I would call a two-step problem. First of all, we're going to find a unit fraction. In this case it's 1/4, and then we'll use that information to find 3/4. So step 1 is to work out what 32 divided by 4 is. And using my knowledge of my times tables, I know that 4 times 8 is 32, so therefore I know that 32 divided by 4 must be 8. So I can now write 8 in each of these quadrants. And there you go. So a unit fraction, 1/4, is the same as 8. But the question doesn't ask for just 1/4, it asks for 3. So now we've got to look at step 2. Well, take a look at this. There's 1/4, there's 2/4, and there's 3/4. So basically I need to add up these 3 quadrants. 8 add 8, or 8. Or an easier way of doing that is saying 3 times 8. And look what I've done. I've actually multiplied my answer to 1/4 by the numerator at the top. And if we go to step 2, in my step 2, we are actually going to do 3 times 8. And the answer, we should all know, is 24. So 3/4 of 32 equals 24. Now if we recap on what we've just done, for step 1 we divided 32 by our denominator to find a unit fraction, which was 8, and then for step 2 we multiplied 3 of those unit fractions together by the numerator to get 24. Let's do one more question. Okay, so this time I want 5/8 of 64. So go straight to the bar now. I know that my bar is worth 64. Okay, so by looking at the denominator of my fraction, I know that I need to divide my bar into 8 equal pieces. So I'll start by dividing it into half, roughly. Each half into half again. Each half, that half into half again, so I have quarters. And now each quarter into half, which will give me 8. And as I said in my previous video, they should be completely identically sized pieces. Obviously they're not here, so we're just going to use our imagination and imagine they are. Right, so step 1. We need to work out what 64 divided by 8 is to give us the size or the amount or the quantity in each of my 8 sections. 64 divided by 8. So straight away 64 is a squared number. I know 8 8s are 64, so therefore 64 divided by 8 is 8. And each of my 8 sections here is equivalent to 8. Could be 8 oranges, 8 apples, 8 pens, 8 pencils, or just 8. But each one is equivalent to 8. Okay, so we have found a unit fraction. We have found 1/8 of 64. But that, once again, is not what the question is asking us. The question wants 5/8 of 64. So, step 2, I need to find out what 5 lots of 8 are. So, here we go. We have 5/8. Now, we could do 8 add 8 add 8 add 8 add 8 to find out the total of this part of the bar, but that takes ages. Let's do it the easy way. 5 times 8. So 5/8 are 40. So therefore 5/8 of 64 is the same as 40. And once again, to recap, I divided 64 by my denominator to find my unit fraction for step 1, and then I times the answer to step 1 by the numerator, which is 5, to find my final answer. And that is it. So I'm now going to move on to another screen which has got some questions for you to try at home. These might take a little bit longer than finding the unit fractions, and I really strongly advise that you draw some bars to begin with. Once you've drawn your bars and you know what you're doing, you can have a go at trying to find the answers by yourself without anything. Okay, so here are your questions. Pause the video, have a go at answering the questions, and we'll be back in a minute with the answers. Right, so if you've come back to me, you'll be ready for the answers, and here they are. How did you do? Hopefully you've managed to work out whatever your fraction was, whatever your question is, you divide the quantity by the denominator to find a unit fraction. So in this case 24, I'll do this, just this one with you, 24 divided by 4 we know is 6. That was my step 1. And then for our step 2, you should be able to work out that we need to multiply the answer, which was 6, by the numerator, which is 3, and we would have got 80. Okay, I hope you've had some good luck with those. There are more of these for you to work on tomorrow and on Friday. Good luck, bye.